Hi guys, my name is Esther Modoni and I'm back with a new video, and today we shall be discussing about what is a holding company. A holding company is a company that is involved in buying and owning shares of another company. And this other company, we call it a subsidiary. So a holding company or a parent company has a controlling interest in a subsidiary. The holding company is not involved in running the daily activities or the daily affairs of the subsidiary. No, it is not. Its core business is to own shares in that subsidiary and to control the decisions going on in that subsidiary. In fact, a holding company will it just focuses on owning and having a controlling interest in the subsidiary. Usually, a holding company may own the subsidiary fully, or it may own it partially, meaning that it just have shares and not all the shares. So it can either own the shares 100%, or it can just have shares that are just enough for it to have a controlling interest in a subsidiary. So the holding company is responsible for providing oversight over the subsidiary. So the way it directs the affairs of the subsidiary, but not, the daily operations of the company. One thing I wanted to note is that a subsidiary and a holding company, they are two different entities. They are separate entities. And therefore, a holding company does not interfere with the daily operations of a subsidiary, because a subsidiary will also have its own directors and management system that run the company in every. Illustrated here how a holding company can control more than even 3 companies. All of them, you're calling them subsidiaries. Subsidiary A may be the one holding the immovable assets. Subsidiary B may be involved in real estate. Subsidiary C may be involved in owning the intellectual property assets in A and B. So all these are different companies doing different things. However, this holding company will have shareholding in all of these companies, meaning that it will be controlling their operations. For instance, there are several features that the Companies Act provide in terms of what constitutes a holding company. You will find that a holding company has the power to appoint or remove directors. That means either most of them or even all of them, without seeking permission from other shareholders. Because remember, what we said is that a holding company may have a greater control of a company. That means it might own majority of the shares of that company, and therefore it is able to control who joins the company as a director or who get removed on what basis. So it has the power to appoint and to remove directors without any person's consent, without seeking the other shareholders' consent. The other main feature of a holding company is that it holds more than half of the other company's issued share capital. So when the subsidiary is issuing shares, the holding company usually allocates itself more than half of the shareholding. So that, of course, explains why it has more power in the subsidiary. The other feature of a holding company is that it controls like half of the voting rights in that other company. So because it is holding more than half of the shareholding in that subsidiary, it also controls, it has more power, it has more voting power. And that is why the decisions made in a subsidiary usually reflect the will of the holding company, because the holding company has more than half of the voting rights. Therefore, all the decisions have in the subsidiary will most of the time go in the favor of the holding company. One thing that you should know is that a holding company can also be a holding company of a company that is other company's holding company. So we can have a holding company owning another holding company that is a holding company for other subsidiaries. That means that you can have a holding company which is A, and B, both of them are holding companies. However, A holds B and B holds other companies. So you can take this as far as you wish. Of course, Section 108 of Companies Act prohibits a subsidiary from being a member of its holding company. Forming a holding company, you cannot accord shares to its subsidiary. In short, a subsidiary cannot be a member of a holding company. However, a holding company can be a member of a subsidiary. So you cannot allot or transfer shares in a company, in a holding company, to its subsidiary. One may ask, what are the advantages and disadvantages of a holding company? Why would a person or an entity want to have a holding company? First, it fosters innovation. This means that, like I explained before, you can have different companies doing different things without interference. So what you are doing is that you are letting each company grow on its own. You are expanding in terms of assets, in terms of growth, in terms of innovation. You can start as many companies as you can, and you can expand without the shareholders feeling like, oh, this is a big risk. So you can, what we call is, you can diversify the risks and start as many companies, but under this one central company, which has the controlling interest to other subsidiaries. The other main advantages of a holding company is that it acts as a liability shield. That means that a holding company, whereas a holding company may own almost all the assets in a subsidiary company, if the subsidiary goes into liquidation, the creditors of that subsidiary cannot pursue the holding company. So what in fact you are doing, you are protecting your assets against such creditors. They cannot pursue your assets because then they are being owned by another entity. The other advantage is that a holding company, its work is not to own or to sell services or products. Its work is to own the shares, or to own the shares in the subsidiary. That means that a holding company is not even involved in the daily activities or the running operations of the subsidiaries in their everyday, because they have their directors and management. Therefore, that is a plus for a holding company. It is not involved. Its work is just to own assets or to own shares without, running the business. The other advantage of a holding company is that it has the central management, because the directors of a holding company are the ones who appoints the directors of other subsidiaries. So therefore there is a centrality in terms of management of the company. However, there are certain of course disadvantages of a holding company, and one of them is that because you are forming so many companies, formation and compliance costs. So you, as a holding company, of course, this might mean your expenses, of course, increase. The running cost of the business increases, and of course, the management difficulties. Even though we are saying that we have a centrality in terms of management, it is not easy to manage. So that is some of the factors that I have looked into a holding company, especially in Kenya. And of course, one may ask, what about the registration of a holding company? Is it the same process as the way you would register any other limited liability company? And the answer is yes, the process is the same. The normal way we register a private limited company or a public limited company, it is the same way we register a holding company. Thank you guys for watching this video. See you next time.